What if I told you that the one thing you've been told to eat your entire life, the cornerstone of every single healthy diet, could be silently increasing your risk of a catastrophic life-altering stroke? It sounds impossible, right? We're taught from childhood, eat your vegetables. They are the symbols of health, vitality, and longevity. But what if, after the age of 60, the rules of the game change entirely? What if some of these so-called superfoods contain hidden compounds that, for an aging body, act less like medicine and more like a poison? This isn't about fear, this is about knowledge. The kind of knowledge that can empower you to take back control of your health in a world of confusing and often contradictory advice. We're going to expose 3 specific types of vegetables that, under the wrong circumstances, could be a ticking time bomb in your system. And the mechanism by which they operate is something 99% of people, and even some doctors, completely overlook. I need you to stay with me through this entire explanation, because each vegetable works in a completely different way. You won't want to miss the final one. It's the most common, hiding in plain sight in almost every kitchen, and understanding its danger is absolutely critical. Missing this information isn't just a small oversight. It could be the one thing standing between you and the future you deserve. But silent sabotage. Let's talk about a silent saboteur. It's a molecule found in some of the most celebrated green, leafy vegetables on the planet. I'm talking about spinach, beet greens, and Swiss chard. For decades, you've been told to load up on these for iron, for vitamins, for fiber, and that's not wrong. But there's another side to this story, a darker side that emerges as our bodies age and our systems become more sensitive. The saboteur is a molecule called oxalate. You might have heard of oxalates in the context of kidney stones, and you'd be right. When you eat foods high in oxalates, they bind with calcium in your digestive tract. For most people, this isn't a huge deal, but for someone over 60 whose kidney function might be naturally declining, it's a different story entirely. When your kidneys are overworked, they can't filter out these tiny, sharp, crystal-like structures effectively. Think of it like trying to pour sand through a coffee filter. Over time, it clogs everything up. But what does this have to do with your stroke risk? The connection is direct, but it's a 2-step process that most people never link together. First, when your kidneys are under constant stress from processing high loads of oxalates, they become less efficient at their primary job, regulating your blood pressure. Impaired kidney function is one of the leading drivers of hypertension. It's a silent, slow-moving crisis inside your body. Your blood pressure begins to creep up day by day, month by month. You might not even feel it. Then comes the second step. These oxalate crystals don't just stay in the kidneys. Microscopic crystals can enter your bloodstream, causing low-grade inflammation and damage to the delicate lining of your arteries, the endothelium. Imagine millions of tiny shards of glass scraping along the inside of your blood vessels. This damage creates rough patches, places where plaque can easily build up, narrowing the arteries that supply blood to your brain. Now, you have a perfect storm. High blood pressure pushing forcefully against arteries that are becoming narrower and more brittle. This is the exact formula for an ischemic stroke. One small blockage, one tiny clot, and the blood supply to a part of your brain is cut off overnight. The tragedy is that you thought you were doing everything right. You were eating that giant spinach salad every day for lunch, believing it was your ticket to a long, healthy life. You weren't ignoring your health, you were actively pursuing it. But you were working with incomplete information. The solution isn't to banish these vegetables forever. It's about strategy. Boiling spinach and Swiss chard for just a few minutes and then discarding the water can slash their oxalate content by up to 80%. It's a simple 2-minute step that deactivates the danger, allowing you to get the benefits without the devastating risk. It's about knowing how to disarm the weapon, not throw it away. Nutrient traps. The next danger is far more subtle. It doesn't come from a natural toxin, but from a vital nutrient. A nutrient that, in the wrong context, can completely derail the life-saving medication your doctor prescribed. This is the paradox of vitamin K. We're talking about the powerhouse greens: kale, collard greens, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli. These are the darlings of the health world. They are packed with antioxidants, anti-cancer compounds, and of course, A massive amount of vitamin K. Vitamin K's primary job is to help your blood clot. If you get a cut, vitamin K is the hero that rushes in to form a scab and stop the bleeding. It's essential for survival. But here's the problem. Millions of people over 60 are prescribed anticoagulant medications, blood thinners, like warfarin or Coumadin. These drugs are given to people with atrial fibrillation, a history of blood clots, or other cardiovascular issues specifically to prevent a stroke. Their entire purpose is to make your blood less likely to clot. Do you see the conflict? The medication is pulling in one direction, and the nutrient is pulling in the exact opposite. They are in a biological tug of war, and your health is the rope in the middle. Imagine you're driving a car, and your doctor has carefully calibrated the brakes to be sensitive and effective. Now imagine that every time you eat a large kale salad, it's like pouring oil all over those brake pads. The medication simply stops working as intended. Your blood's clotting ability can swing wildly, making the dosage your doctor so carefully calculated completely ineffective. This is why some people on warfarin can have a stroke even while taking their medication perfectly. They'll have a huge kale smoothie one day, loading their system with vitamin K, which essentially cancels out their dose. Then, for the next 2 days, they'll eat very little, and their system will suddenly become overly anticoagulated, putting them at risk for bleeding. This inconsistency is the real danger. Your doctor is trying to keep you within a very narrow, safe therapeutic range, and your diet is unknowingly throwing you in and out of it like a yo-yo. The viral health trend of juicing and green smoothies has made this problem 100 times worse. People will suddenly decide to go on a health kick and start consuming massive, concentrated amounts of these vegetables without ever realizing they are playing Russian roulette with their medication. The advice here is not, and I repeat, not to avoid vitamin K. That's also dangerous. The key is absolute, boring, unexciting consistency. You need to work with your doctor or a nutritionist to figure out a stable, consistent daily intake of vitamin K so they can set your medication dose to match it. Your intake yesterday should be about the same as your intake today and the same tomorrow. Health, in this case, isn't about radical change. It's about predictable stability. It's a quiet, daily discipline that protects your brain from chaos. Sodium bombs. Now we come to the final and most pervasive danger. It's not exotic. It's not found in a trendy superfood. It's found in a can. I'm talking about canned vegetables. The seemingly innocent can of green beans, the corn, the peas, the carrots. They sit in your pantry, a symbol of convenience and preparedness. But they are also one of the biggest sources of hidden sodium in the modern diet. And for anyone over 60, sodium is a direct antagonist to your brain health. Here's what happens in your body when you're consistently consuming high levels of sodium. Your body, in its infinite wisdom, tries to maintain a very specific balance of electrolytes and water in your bloodstream. When you flood it with sodium, it holds onto water to dilute it. It's a basic survival mechanism. But this extra water increases the total volume of blood in your arteries. Think of it like turning up the pressure in a garden hose. More volume in the same amount of space means higher pressure. This is hypertension, high blood pressure. It is, without any debate, the single greatest modifiable risk factor for stroke. It's called the silent killer for a reason. As this relentless pressure pounds against the walls of your arteries, day after day, year after year, it causes damage. It weakens them. It makes them more susceptible to blockages and ruptures. A hypertensive crisis can literally cause a blood vessel in your brain to burst. This is a hemorrhagic stroke, and it is devastating. You might be thinking, but I don't add salt to my food. And that's the trap. You don't have to. The food industry has already added it for you. A single cup of canned green beans can have over 400 milligrams of sodium. Canned creamed corn can have over 700 milligrams. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams per day for most older adults. You can blow through half of your daily allowance with one side dish that you thought was a responsible, healthy choice. It's the ultimate betrayal. You reached for vegetables, the very food you're supposed to eat for good health, and you are unknowingly flooding your system with the one mineral most likely to cause a stroke. The solution is brutally simple, yet so many people miss it. If you must use canned vegetables, look for the no salt added label. It's right there on the can. Or even better, rinse them. Pouring those canned vegetables into a colander and rinsing them under running water for just 30 seconds can wash away up to 40% of the added sodium. It's an almost effortless habit that can literally save your life. The second choice is to opt for frozen vegetables. They typically have no added sodium and retain more of their nutrients anyway. This isn't about perfection, it's about making small, intelligent choices that dramatically lower your risk profile over time. And protective shield. So, we've unmasked the hidden dangers. We've talked about oxalates, the vitamin K trap, and the sodium bombs. It can feel overwhelming, like the world of healthy eating is a minefield. But knowledge isn't meant to create fear, it's meant to build your defense. Now, let's talk about building a protective shield. Let's talk about what you should be actively adding to your diet to not just avoid risk, but to actively fortify your brain and blood vessels. Your first line of defense is potassium. Think of potassium as the anti-sodium. While sodium makes your body hold onto water and raises blood pressure, potassium helps your body excrete sodium and relaxes the walls of your blood vessels. It actively lowers blood pressure. This isn't just theory, it's proven biology. Where do you find it? Not just in bananas. Think of sweet potatoes, avocados, white beans, and even tomato sauce. Making a conscious effort to include potassium-rich foods in every meal is like having a constant, gentle release valve for the pressure in your cardiovascular system. It actively counteracts the unavoidable sodium that creeps into our modern diet. Your second layer of defense is omega-3 fatty acids. If sodium and oxalates are like rust forming on the inside of your pipes, omega-3s are like a high-tech anti-corrosive coating. They are powerful anti-inflammatories. They help to make your blood platelets less sticky, reducing the risk of a dangerous clot forming. They also help to lower triglycerides, a type of fat in your blood that contributes to artery hardening. The best sources are fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines. Aim for at least 2 servings a week. If you're not a fan of fish, a high-quality algae-based omega-3 supplement is a fantastic alternative. This isn't just a nice-to-have. It's critical maintenance for your internal plumbing. Finally, the third layer of your shield is color. Specifically, the deep, rich colors found in berries, purple cabbage, and dark cherries. These colors come from compounds called anthocyanins. These are a type of flavonoid, and they are miracle workers for your blood vessels. They directly improve the flexibility and function of your endothelium, that delicate inner lining of your arteries we talked about earlier. They help your blood vessels dilate and contract properly, which is crucial for maintaining healthy blood flow and pressure. A handful of blueberries in your oatmeal, a side of steamed beets. Remember to boil them first. With dinner, these small additions create a powerful synergistic effect. The habits synergize beautifully. The potassium helps manage your blood pressure, the omega-3s reduce clotting and inflammation, and the anthocyanins keep your arteries flexible and strong. This isn't about a single magic food. It's about creating an internal environment that is fundamentally hostile to the processes that cause a stroke. You're not just avoiding the bad, you're actively overwhelming it with good. The final warning. We've covered a lot of ground. We've talked about the hidden risks in foods you thought were safe and the powerful protective shield you can build with foods you may have been neglecting. But the single most important takeaway from all of this is not a list of foods to eat or avoid, it's a shift in mindset. You have to stop thinking about health advice as one size fits all. Your body, after 60, is a unique ecosystem with its own history, its own sensitivities, and its own specific needs. The most dangerous vegetable is the one you're eating without understanding how it interacts with your specific biology and your specific medications. For your neighbor, a giant kale smoothie might be the elixir of life. For you, if you're on warfarin, it could be a recipe for disaster. For one person, a daily spinach salad is a vitamin powerhouse. For you, if you have compromised kidney function, it could be a slow-moving poison. This is why the final, most crucial habit is radical self-awareness and open communication with your doctor. Your health is not a passive activity. It requires you to be an active participant, a detective in your own life. When your doctor prescribes you a new medication, your first question should be, are there any foods I need to be careful with while taking this? When you read about a new health trend online, your first thought should be, does this make sense for me, for my body, for my conditions? Don't let your health be dictated by generic headlines or viral videos, even this one. Use this information as a starting point for a conversation. Use it to ask smarter questions. The ultimate defense against a stroke isn't a food or a pill. It's knowledge. Personalized, specific, actionable knowledge. That is your power. That is what will keep you vibrant, healthy, and in control for all the years to come. Take this seriously. The life you save may be your own. Which habit are you going to start first to protect your brain health? Rinsing canned veggies or adding more potassium-rich foods? Drop your choice below. Let's inspire each other.